Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Paul, and in this Limited video we're going to be discussing Project Scorpio again. Microsoft's upcoming new Xbox is said to be quite the beast, and in fact we're going to be learning quite a lot about the potential power of this new system in this particular video. The first of which, we're going to focus on the rumour side of things, and then we're going to hear from a developer themselves. So first things first, a rumour from WindowsCentral.com, who by the way were the same individuals who posted that Scorpio will indeed provide much improved visuals on 1080p screens, has said that once again a source, who is unnamed obviously, has clarified that there will be 4K DVR capturing on Scorpio. So, none of your 1080p rubbish, only 4K shall do, apparently. And also, the system will pack an internal PSU, which is actually really cool. Now, in my opinion, I don't mind the fact that power supplies are external, but the fact that it's internal does make things a lot easier in terms of cable management at the least. And Microsoft's efforts, apparently, to make Project Scorpio a true 4K system, it will feature HEVC and FNVP9 codecs. And this is, of course, for decoding 4K streams such as Netflix, and just like the Xbox One S, and it will also leverage HEVC for encoding at 2160p 60 frames a second, which is absolutely amazing. At least, of course, if you're ever going to use those features, because they seem to be pretty much Marmite, don't they? Some people use game capture all the time, other people just never seem to use it at all. However, we're now going to focus on another piece of news concerning Scorpio, and this one's perhaps more interesting from a performance standpoint, which I'm assuming a lot of you are going to be rather interested in. Now, we all know that Microsoft has said that the system is, of course, going to be 6 T-flops, it's going to have 8 CPU cores, and it's going to have 320 gigabytes per second of memory bandwidth. However, those are figures which are kind of in a vacuum. They don't really mean that much. But in a new interview with Games Radar, the head of the studio responsible for the development of Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, also known as Monolith Studio head, Kevin Stevens, has made a couple of interesting comments regarding Scorpio. He said, "We've found nothing false in their claims about the hardware. As far as we can tell, it will be the most powerful console ever created when it launches, unless somebody has an announcement I just don't know about." And he also said that, "I can't speak for Microsoft, but from our point of view, they seem very committed to, you know, if you buy an Xbox One, whether it's an S, or whether it's One, or whether it's a Scorpio, you're going to buy a game and be able to play it on any of them. That seems very consistent with our experience on working on those platforms," end quote. Do remember that we have learned that users will benefit for super sampling on the Scorpio, and we're also going to be seeing Shader Model 6, which also may be trickling down to other Xbox units as well. I feel it's pretty obvious to say at this point that Scorpio is most likely going to be shown at least in some form or another, whether it's just demos and we don't see the physical hardware, or maybe we see the physical hardware and it's probably running on a development kit, or who knows, maybe it's a working full-blown actual system at E3 2017, which makes an awful lot of sense. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing what the Scorpio is. Now, I've gone on record and said before that it's very difficult to start comparing it against the PS4 Pro in terms of raw T-flops, because you could say 6 divided by 4.2, that's the disparity between the two systems. That doesn't work. It does if they're exactly the same architecture, exactly the same APIs, exactly the same CPUs, and God knows what else. Unfortunately, it may not be the case. So, for example, if, let's, for the sake of this video, say that the PS4 Pro uses GPU 1.0, but they're using a slightly different version of Project Scorpio, let's say 1.1, that automatically means that Scorpio may be more efficient with the performance it has. So, for those who don't know, the PS4 Pro is said to be using, and this is from Sony's mouths, not ours, said to be using a combination of the Vega architecture with a lot of Polaris. Basically, they took some of the Vega tech and they're basically combining it with a lot of Polaris. However, with Scorpio, it's obviously a later piece of hardware. It's got about a year's lead, which can make an awful lot of difference. So perhaps this will be more Vega with maybe even a bit of Navi. I'm obviously just giving that as conjecture. It could just be exactly the same type of GPU, perhaps to reduce cost, And also we don't know other things. For example, we don't know the type of CPU inside the system, which may be a big part of it. There's multiple choices. It could be a Jaguar, perhaps with a severe upclock. It could be a Jaguar running at roughly the same clock speed as the PS4 Pro. Or it could even be one of the rumours. One of the rumours said that it's going to be a Jaguar Ryzen hybrid. Not quite sure how that works in reality, but of course we'll just have to wait and see, which is very unhelpful. And the final thing, supposedly, and I know I use that word quite a lot when I'm talking about Scorpio, but at the end of the day, they are rumours. There's 12 gigabytes of memory with Scorpio, which is an awful lot more than what's available inside the PS4 Pro. The PS4 Pro has 8 gigabytes, however, they did increase the allocation of memory when a game is running by 512 megabytes by basically shifting things to slower DDR3 memory for like Netflix apps and that type of thing. So in short, background applications run in the background, run in the foreground, but then if you were to launch a game, it then shifts that data to DDR3, and then you've got the slightly larger memory pool to work with. However, even if you were to say that that's the case, there is an awful disparity between the PS4 Pro and the Scorpio. So I do feel the Scorpio is going to be a considerably more powerful unit, but that doesn't mean much, because ultimately it's going to be how it compares to a high-end PC, what the price difference is with the PS4 Pro, and of course, like, is it going to be popular? Is it just going to be mainly for 4K gamers? Is it going to be for 1080p gamers? And yes, we'd see that super sampling, which would be absolutely amazing. Once again, there are rumours to tell us that original Xbox games will look and feel better than the Xbox One can manage to muster. So all of this stuff will be really cool. I think it could be a really interesting device. Naturally, if they are the most powerful system, that means that we can only wait and see how Sony are going to respond. So, yeah. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.